Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network, based in the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And so far, so good. Okay? I don't know. I don't have a good handle on what's happening. You know, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff and Taiwan, and you got to, the communique, and they'll say things, but what are they really saying to each other behind closed doors? I don't know. A lot of it's about Iran. A lot of it is about Iran. Very inscrutable guy, this President Xi. But basically, he's a regular kind of career politician. And in China, they have their bureaucracies and the rest. What was I thinking? Oh, yeah. When Joe Biden went over there, hung around there, and fell in love with the place, a lot like Tim Walz, right? A lot like Tim Walz. They love China. Love it. Loves it so much. You want to hear my little back and forth again? I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. This little snippet I put together of President Trump being tough and hawkish on China, right? And let's face it, you got to be. You got to be. They're counterfeiting, they're stealing, they're espionage, all that stuff. And they want to take over Taiwan. We don't want that to happen. So these people are adversaries. All right? We can respect them. We can be cordial, but they're adversaries. Joe Biden doesn't want them to be adversaries. They want them to be a friend. He's so naive. And he's naive. He's myopic. That's the word. His only interest is money. And that's why he brought his crack-addicted son to that place. His crack-addicted son. Why would you bring your crack-addicted son? President Trump brings Elon Musk and Tim Cook, the guy who runs Apple Computer. Joe Biden brought his crack-addicted son. All right, so listen to the thing. This is what I was talking about, the juxtaposition, if you will. Cut one, please. Cut one. President Trump versus Joe Biden over the years regarding China.
I have many people from China that I do business with. They laugh at us. They feel we're fools. They're getting away with absolute murder.
China's a great nation, and we should hope for the continued expansion.
I don't want to lose $300 billion a year to China when we can't afford to build schools for our children, when we can't afford to build highways, when we can't afford to build railways, when we can't afford to build bridges. I want money to be invested in jobs and in this country. I don't want to rebuild China.
A rising China is a positive development, not only for China, but for America and the world writ large.
It was China's fault. And China's going to pay a big price, what they've done to this country. China's going to pay a big price, what they've done to the world. This was China's fault. And just remember that.
554,064 American dead from COVID-19. A lot of families want to know how this happened, how it got here. Have you had a chance to speak to any of your international partners, any of President Xi, who I know you go way back with? Have you had a chance to ask him if these reports are true that China maybe misled the world at the beginning?
No, I have not had that conversation with President Xi. Thank you.
So all that time over there and all the time he spent with President Xi, I think it all rubbed off on them. The Democrats, they operate in the same way. Just real quick, we won't play the whole thing because nobody really would care. It's not a surprising thing that Joe Biden spends time with the world leader. Would that surprise you? Right? I mean, world leaders, But listen to the way he said it, the boasting of it, and the fact that he even tracked it. I mean, this is probably all lies and exaggeration, but listen, cut two.
I've spent more time with Xi Jinping, at least before we got out, than any world leader has. I've traveled 17,000 miles with him, the president of China. I've probably spent more time with Xi Jinping, I'm told, than any world leader has, because I I had 24, 25 hours of private meetings with him when I was vice president, traveled 17,000 miles with him. I know him pretty well. I've spent more time with President Xi of China than any world leader has. For 24 hours of private meetings with him. I have spoken and spent more time with Xi Jinping than any other world leader has. I've had hours and hours and hours of meetings and personal conversations with Xi Jinping. I spent more time with him, I believe, than any other world leader has.
It's the strangest thing. Nobody really cares about that. It doesn't like make people more likely to vote for you, but it was a message to the people of China, and Joe Biden is exploiting something or kind of invoking something known as Wu Lun, right? And in China, these personal relationships, you know, President Trump talks about his friends, right? He talks about them realistically. I have a friend, Joe. He was not good at business. He got better at business, but he wasn't. When he was 80, he became a billionaire much later. But before that, or he'll say, my friend is in England, and he says England is a different place, and he says he gets the fat shot, and he gets it for $10, and it costs $2,000 here. I tell him the fat shot's not working. Anyway, President Trump. If you're friends with President Trump, that doesn't necessarily, you know. It's nice. It's great. But it doesn't mean he's going to give you a slice of the action. You know, there's no action really to share. It's different in communist China. This stuff, these systems definitely rubbed off on the Democrat Party. They love the way China operates. The party is in control. They have elections over there at the local level, but when it gets to the national, right, all of that stuff is controlled by the party. Who's in, who's out. And that's the way the Democrats do it. That's exactly the way. Joe Biden in Iowa in 2020 came in 4th place. All right? There are 3 tickets out of Iowa. He came in 4th. And they say there are 2 tickets out of New Hampshire. You got to be in the top 3 in Iowa, and you got to be in the top 2 in New Hampshire. Buttigieg came in 1st place each time, weirdly enough. Joe Biden came in 5th place. But they realized Buttigieg or the other guy, what's his name, Bernie Sanders, probably could not beat Trump. So they just screw what the voters think. Screw it. They all dropped out of the race. Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg. Everybody who was beating Joe Biden dropped out like that because they got the message. It's going to be Joe. Remember when Joe Biden, they tried to give him the message and he wouldn't listen? Cut 3, please. Cut 3.
Well, let me say this as clearly as I can. I'm staying in the race.
I'm staying in the race. They were begging him to get out. And then what happened? What happened? Cut 4.
All right, we've got some major breaking news. According to multiple reports, President Biden has dropped out of the 2024 race.
How about that one? He's going to stay in. He's going to stay in until the party told him to get out. 15 million people had voted for him in the 2024 Democrat primary, and it didn't matter. 4 people. We think 4. Obama, Schumer, Pelosi, and maybe, who the hell knows who the other one was? I can't remember. Said it's time to get out. 15 million people versus 4. How's that for democracy? That's communism, baby. That's communism. They were stuck with Joe Biden. And then instead of having like, okay, Joe Biden can't do it. You have a competitive race. Just because you're the vice president doesn't automatically make you the nominee. It doesn't. If anybody can recall in 1988 when George, what the hell was his name again? George H.W. Bush ran for president. He ran against 18 guys. For the Republican nomination, he ran against Bob Dole. He ran against Al Haig. He ran against, I think, James Baker. He ran against a lot of guys who thought that they were better. He had to fight it out, and then he got it. Al Gore, when he ran in 2000, he had to fight it out. Remember that? Vaguely. Bill Bradley wanted it. He ran. He didn't get as many votes. You lost. He lost fair and square. But now it's the party. It's the party. Now, at the same time, well, it should be the people. It's weird. Whenever the people get involved, you know what that is? They call it political. You know, people, the involvement of people. Political has to do with people. Polis, metropolis. Who lives in a metropolis? People. It comes from, I believe, a Greek word, polis, for place, where people live, inhabit. People. And how do we have our voices heard? Really, we elect somebody. And the moment one of those elected people pick up the phone on our behalf and try to get stuff done, they complain that it's political. Right? It's political. But that's really code for of or related to the people, democracy. It's interesting how that word is now demonized. It's now a negative. Right? Here we go. Let me see this. Where is that thing? It's kind of interesting. Political is good, but listen to the way they say it. Even the way they say it. Cut 5.
Trump's political influence is once again hurting the GOP.
Republican officials should not use political stunts to interfere.
Republicans are acting politically in protecting Trump.
Politically? How dare they act politically? You can't have politics. Politics is bad. Politics is bad. Yeah. Trump was elected, right? He was elected. And he's acting politically. People, us, metropolis, polis, he who lives in the polis, people, it goes all the way back to Greek and the city-state. You know, don't trust politicians. You have to trust the men and women of the federal government. The men and women. See, they praise the men and women, and it sounds very righteous. What could be wrong with the men and women of the Department of Justice? It just sounds so heroic, as opposed to those greedy, grubby politicians, right? Just listen. Cut 6, please. Cut 6.
Concern, too, is for the men and women of the FBI.
Recognizing the sacrifice that our men and women in the intelligence community
I have to commend the men and women of the intelligence community and the Justice Department.
The men and women of the intelligence community and the Justice Department, as if they're superior to some guy who actually put his ass on the line and asked for your vote. And now we can actually contact him to get stuff done or let him know how we think. No. It's the men and women of the FBI, the men and women of the federal departments. They're superior. And this is where Sean Duffy shot himself in the foot. You know what? That's just the men and women. You can't trust them. You can't. You numbskull. I can't. Numbskull. So, you know about this reality show thing he did? He's the Department of Transportation secretary. That's a big job. And it has a political component. Absolutely. But would you take the biggest responsibility you've ever been given and screw around doing a reality show pilot? You know, he's in the reality show business. That's what made him like kind of a thing in the first place. He was on The Real World in the 90s. And now he's still dicking around, with reality show crap. Listen to this. Cut 7, please. Cut 7. This is the sitting Department of Transportation secretary.
Dad's Real World house. If I never lived in this house, none of you would be here. Hey, we need a song. Like, we can't do a road trip without the song. There you go.
Well, it's a great... Shut up. So cornball. Anyway, he's screwing around on vacation with his family. I can tell Emily Campagno Duffy, or whatever her name, doesn't like being there. She's wearing business clothes while he's pretending to be wearing, like, dad weekend wear. So guess what? He got a clean bill of health to do this. And according to his own statement, you know who gave it to him? The men and women of the ethics department at the Department of Transportation. The career men and women. Career, as if they are superior. Nope, they just gave you enough rope to hang yourself with. What a chump. What an amateur. All right. If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk. Most people don't think about it until it's too late. Summer colds linger and can turn into sinus infections that last for weeks. Getting sick right before vacation can derail everything. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and pharmacy is stressful. And that's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having a urgent care and pharmacy right at home. It includes essential prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of common and serious illnesses. So if you wake up sick at home or on the road, you already have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no pharmacy lines, no copays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. Start on your meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code Greg at urgentcarekit.com/Greg. That's urgentcarekit.com/Greg. urgentcarekit.com, and that promo code is Greg, Greg.
77 WABC and Bergen Newbridge Medical Center honor the life of legendary broadcaster and our friend, Ernie Anastas.
Hi, it's Ernie Anastas. You know, your thoughts can affect how you feel. Bergen Newbridge Medical Center is the largest hospital in New Jersey, providing comprehensive, equitable, compassionate, and high-quality emergency inpatient and outpatient medical care, plus mental health services and substance use disorder treatment. The Bergen Newbridge team can address your total health needs in one convenient location. Call 201-225-7130 for an appointment or newbridgehealth.org.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix's Remarkably Bright Creatures. What if a Pacific octopus held the key to a mystery that could heal your heart? Well, that's Tova's reality. An elderly widow working at an aquarium. Tova forms an unlikely friendship with the curmudgeonly Marcellus, whose remarkable intelligence leads her to a life-changing discovery. Remarkably Bright Creatures is now playing, only on Netflix.
I wrote a little song to remind you, Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Bring a date, your squad, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
That was the murder trial of Alex Murdaugh. And I was like, what in the hell is going on here? They spent a lot of time talking about cooter and chickens and chicken coops and the rest of it, and something was just off about the whole damn thing. Big time. Bigly. Cut 9 from this. You know, the verdict was thrown out. He's not guilty. This man is innocent of murder right now. Now, I know they're going to retry him and everything like that, but there's something very strange about all this. Cut 9, please. Cut 9.
You got the kennels and the chicken coop sort of form an L shape. And in that L was some planted pines. First thing the dogs would do is go out in that kennel, and, you know, Bubba and Grady, I think, learned this from Bubba, but Grady would do it too. But Bubba had to mark every tree. I mean, he would go and he'd do a little number on this tree and that tree. You know how dogs do.
Y'all know how dogs do. Y'all know that. So it all came down to one dog, a dog named Bubba. Hey, wait a second. Rabbi Karp, is that you?
Can you hear me?
I can. Is this a good rabbi or one of those rabbis who's on the side of the Palestinians? Because I've seen some of you guys out there.
Yeah, no. We don't hold by them.
Okay, good. Phew. Hey, do me a favor. Don't go far, okay? I'm going to get back to you.
Okay.
All right. There's the music. We'll be right back.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Men and women of the federal government, you're all fireable. You are all fireable. These civil service protections are unconstitutional. At least half of you could be gone and nobody would notice. Hey, join the club. All right. You know what? We're all expendable, unfortunately. Right? I mean, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. God forbid, President Trump. There's a guy waiting right there, Vance. You know, there'd be a big funeral and everything like that, and everything would be, but everybody's replaceable. I hate it, but it's true. But the government would function just fine. Too much bloat. And also, you guys, your heads are way too big. Way too big. Who the hell do you think you are? The men and women of the Department of Justice, the men and women of the intelligence community. What about the men and women of America? You seem to put yourself above America. The men and women, citizens, regular people who actually, you know what? You know, you work in the real world. You don't have civil service protections. They could, like, not the way you look anymore. Get lost, scram. I can't believe they had to tell the incoming administration what they had been doing for the past 4 years. You know this guy Driscoll? Yeah, the Driscoll thing. So Driscoll, after FBI director and Chris Christie crony, Christopher Wray. Hey, I know something about the FBI. I know a lot about the FBI, but I also know that President Trump wanted to put a patriot and a hero in charge of the FBI in 2017 after Comey got axed, right? So justified. Guess who President Trump called? True story. Ray Kelly, my father, offered him the job. Said, yes, absolutely. I'm interested. Let's talk. Wonderful. Okay, we'll follow up. And somebody did follow up, but then the kibosh came down. We're not doing Ray Kelly. And who was out there bad-mouthing Ray Kelly? Chris Christie. Chris Fatso Christie. Chris, I'm a cop. Not really. Christie. I was a federal prosecutor. Oh, I was a federal prosecutor. I was a federal prosecutor. Not really, actually. You were captured by federal prosecutors. You were owned by federal prosecutors, but you were never a federal prosecutor. You can go into and fool the fake news with that crap. He was just a regular guy. A regular nobody schmuck. Join the club. But what did he do? What did he do that set him apart? Guess. He wrote a check to George W. Bush. He raised money for George W. Bush. Thanks a lot, Chris. Did that help America? No. But it helped his political career. It certainly helped his political career. Oh, my God. Look at that Admiral. I've never seen that many ribbons on a uniform in my life, except in Russia. That's a little bit much, right? You ever see those guys in Russia? That's overdoing it. He's got a little bit too much going on there. CENTCOM, Iran Navy won't return. Admiral Cooper. Yeah. Don't need. Less is more, pal. Less is more. All right. So what the hell were we just talking about? Ah, yes. Chris Christie. Badmouth my dad. And got his guy Chris Wray in there. And the rest is history. Chris Wray, such a swamp rat. And with that in mind, Chris Wray goes away, right? Because he's afraid of getting prosecuted. He's afraid of being fired by Trump, so he quits after Trump gets elected. And then we got a guy named Driscoll. He looks like Bozo the Clown. He literally looks like Bozo the Clown. He's the acting FBI director between Wray and before Kash Patel. Bozo the Clown. His hair's all weird. He's got this cheesy mustache. He looked like... Quite frankly, he looked like a porno movie actor from like the 70s, 80s, right? He had a very cheap porno vibe. Not that we've ever seen the porno, but you know what I mean. He's running the FBI for a brief moment, actually for several weeks. And, you know, hey, we'll interview you for the job. Okay, we'll talk to you. Remind you, the FBI had just been hassling innocent Americans over January 6th for the previous 4 years, sending SWAT teams into people's homes like Christopher Cuny, a friend of mine, didn't hurt anybody, didn't break anything on January 6th, but he was in the building. He walked through an open door, saw somebody smoking pot, said, don't smoke that, picked up a few pieces of trash, and left. They sent the SWAT team into his house. The FBI did that, the FBI SWAT team. So you got to find out what the hell's going on. Listen to this little baby. Driscoll is his name, the acting FBI director. He's now suing Donald Trump because he lost his job. Dude, you're fireable. Who do you think you are? You think you're better than everybody else. They think they're better than the elected president of the United States. Go ahead.
In that same memo, Beauvais also gave Driscoll 4 days to hand over a list of all current and former FBI personnel who'd been assigned at any time to the January 6 investigations.
This is an extension of a purge that began last week within minutes after the new interim leaders of the Justice Department arrived. This has now extended across the street from the Justice Department headquarters to the FBI.
And I was like, okay, this is a one-way trip for me because I'm not going to tolerate this. I need to be able to look my kids and my wife and my parents and my brothers and my sister in the eye and say I didn't compromise what I knew was right.
That same day, Driscoll sent an email to all 38,000 FBI employees, explaining what Beauvais had just directed him to do and promising them he would follow the law, follow FBI policy, and do what's in the best interest of the workforce and the American people, always.
Stop. Now think about this. Think about this. The incoming administration, the transition, you work with the transition. They want to know who those SWAT team members were who came in. They want a clean house. First of all, I don't think the incoming administration, the Trump administration, had any idea that you wasted 6,000 guys looking into 6,000. There were 6,000 names on that list who investigated January 6th. I'd say that's overkill. I'd say that's a waste of resources. And this guy says, I'm not going to hand it over. I think Beauvais was a top lawyer for President Trump, and now he's a federal judge. Great guy. You know, he's representing President Trump. We want to know. We want to know who was doing that. He probably thought that the list was 60, 70, 80, 100, 200 tops. No, the FBI went hog wild. And this guy says, I'm not going to turn it over. I'm not going to listen to the incoming administration. I'm going to follow the law and FBI regulations. There's no law that says you don't have to listen to your boss about a routine request, right? It's amazing. I couldn't look my children in the eye if I listened to my boss who wanted to know something about this agency that is not mine. It's the American people's. And the American people just brought in President Trump. Driscoll is his name. Driscoll. Dan Driscoll. And the other thing is he's disgruntled because he wanted to be the FBI director himself. The FBI is full of stories like this. They don't become the director, and then they decide to blow up the bureau. Mark Felt, Deep Throat, did the same thing. Did the same exact thing, you sons of bitches. Disband the FBI. Forget about it. It's rotten to the core. Something in the water. My apologies to the 4% of the workforce there that is decent. 4%. Plus Kash Patel. That's it. You guys suck, and you know it. Except for the 4%. Keep going.
And I explained what was going on to the top leadership of the Bureau. Very quiet room in those moments. Because in that group, I was the youngest and one of the very few who were ineligible to retire by a lot. I had 5 more years to go. Some people asking and looking at me as if I was crazy and like you know how this is probably going to end for you. There's a scene at the. Can I talk about a movie?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so towards the end of Good Will Hunting, Robin Williams is discovering the abuse that Matt Damon's character went through.
Have you had any experience with that?
Matt Damon articulates the situation he found himself in when he'd come home at night and his foster father would have a stick, a belt, and a wrench on a table. Say, choose one.
You see these legends they tell themselves? You see these heroic tales they tell themselves? This is all to justify he's not cooperating with the incoming elected administration. These people were elected. The president of the United States elected. He appointed these people to help him. You have to obey your boss, the American people. And instead he tells this story. And what a dope, by the way. He asked for permission. Can I talk about a movie? Can I talk about a movie? I remember my dad was being interviewed by the same TV show, 60 Minutes. He didn't ask for permission to invoke Casablanca. He did, actually. It was a great, great moment. Don't come to New York. Message to the terrorists. Just like Humphrey Bogart told Major Strasser, there are certain parts of New York you may not want to invade, Commissar. And anyway, you don't need permission, you little... Keep going.
Yeah, he used to just put
I hated this movie, by the way.
a wrench, a stick, and a belt on the table. And just say choose.
Well, I gotta go with the belt there, Vanna.
Robin Williams said, yeah, go with the belt. Matt Damon says, no, I'd go with the wrench.
I used to go with the wrench.
Why the wrench?
Because fuck him, that's why.
And so I said it in those words to the entire leadership of the Bureau. I'm choosing the wrench.
I don't understand the reference. It's stupid. And there's more. He talks about how, got fired and how devastating that was. I don't know. I mean, you're just a guy. It's very interesting, isn't it? Oh, I got to get back to this rabbi for a second. Hi. What did you want to say, sir?
Greg, well, first of all, I just want to tell you my dad was an ex-Marine, so Semper Fi. That's the first thing. You're a lieutenant colonel, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just letting you know.
Well, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
What is it?
What I am trying to say here that God has 7 obligations that he wants all Gentiles, all those whose biological mothers are not Jewish, on earth to fulfill. And he's wanted this since Adam, the first man, who had 6 of the obligations, and then he gave the 7th one to Noah, and then it was renewed at Mount Sinai with Moshe, and all 7 were given to Moshe. So here are the 7 obligations. May I read them?
Wait a second. Look, we got guys, Palestinians, and terrorist sympathizers taking over neighborhoods in Brooklyn right now, and it's happening all over the country. Is this going to help in that regard?
Indeed.
It will?
Yes, if every Gentile would fulfill these laws.
Well, wait a second. Why is it all on the Gentiles? What about the Jews? What about Chuck Schumer right across the street? That son of a bitch is sitting on his ass while his own neighborhood goes up in flames. He's got to do something too, right?
Of course.
All right. Where did you get these laws, by the way?
They are from the Torah.
All right. Lay them on me. Lay them on me. Go real quick. I'll write them down. Go.
1, do not worship idols.
Oh, well, wait, hold on a second. We know that. This is not, no offense, but this is not new. This is ancient, as you know. I mean, we're very much, the Old Testament, the Torah, is part of the Bible that we read, the New Testament. So you're going over the oldies but goodies. Are these like the commandments or something like that? Keep going, all right? That one, check. We already do that. Keep going.
2, do not curse our Creator's name.
Hey, we got that one too. These are the 10 commandments you're going through. Why are you only going to give me 7? What else?
Let's see what you do now. 3, do not murder.
You think... All right, let's call these the 10 Commandments, all right? Can we do that?
We Jews have the 10 Commandments. You Gentiles, if your biological mother's not Jewish, you don't have to keep Shabbos. You don't have to guard.
Whoa, no. We have the 10 Commandments. You guys have 567 commandments, right?
10 Commandments.
Wait a second now. You guys have a lot more rules that you have to follow we don't have to follow those rules because we believe that Christ fulfilled all the rules. By the way, this is a totally, you know what I mean? I'm just a little bit manic right now. I'm just like a little bit on it. I love you and I love what you're saying, and I want to understand. You guys have more rules that you have to follow, correct?
Yes, but just understand that the 10 Commandments were like major categories of our 613 obligations. You can fit all 613, my Rav said, into all of those 10 commandments.
By the way,
you do not have the 10. In fact,
all right. Don't do me a favor. Don't tell. We got the 10. We got the 10. Of course, we got the 10. What's the third thing in this list?
Oh, these
Give me the third thing in the list.
Well, third thing was do not murder. 4 is do not have 6 forbidden sexual relations. A Gentile male is not allowed to be intimate.
All right. This is where it gets crazy. I mean, you're telling, in this moment, a Gentile male, me, is not allowed to be intimate with whom?
Number 1, your mother, biological mother. 2, your father's wife, if she's not your mother, right? 3, your maternal sister.
Jesus Christ. Forgive me. I mean, this is almost gross. This never crossed my mind. I thought you were going to say a Jewish woman.
not to a Marine would these things cross their mind, but to other people, civilians, sometimes people think of doing these things.
What are the other three?
3, you're not allowed to be intimate with your maternal sister. 4,
jeez, would you stop saying this stuff? You guys needed this written down. We all know. All right, sorry. Keep going.
4, a married woman.
No kidding,
5,
adultery.
Yes. 5, another male. Homosexuality is not permitted. It's considered an abomination.
Yes, and
6, and an animal. That's bestiality. That's also an abomination. Okay.
This is very much a given. All right, in civil society, all this stuff. What's the bottom line, Rabbi?
All right, the Gentile females are not exactly opposite. You have to look at my link online. The 7 obligations for all Gentiles.
Rabbi, I'm getting a little bit. All right, and then. All right, what is the link? What is the link?
Just go to YouTube. Go to Rabbi Eliezer Karp. ELIEZER KARP.
Do me a favor. Simplify that title on your YouTube. KARP, right?
KARP.
Like KARP in Cincinnati. Remember that show was big in the 80s?
Of course.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you very much. Interesting. You presented it like it was going to be totally radical. I think we're on the same page here. Thank you. And I'll check out the website. Be right back.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, it's pretty apparent we're about to start pounding Iran. I would imagine they're going to wait. Well, maybe not. You know why? Because Secretary Hegseth is with President Trump right now in China. I was a little bit surprised to see him there on this mission, and that's kind of a tell that the military campaign may be reinitiated while President Trump is in China. It looks like that's what they're going to have to do, and it could be a whole new realm, like in a weird way, a whole new war. You know, we achieved what we needed to achieve with the nuclear and the missiles. Now we have to achieve something else. The opening of the strait and any threat, not nuclear, but any conventional weapon threat to any ship that goes through the Strait of Hormuz, because it's really fouling up the world, although not too much. Anybody look at the stock market lately? 50,000. It's way, way, way up. It's going crazy. Now, I know gas prices are, a little bit higher than we want, but I think we can deal with it. I do, actually. Look, I'm just thinking about 4 years ago. 4 years ago when they were $5.25 right now, and everybody was inflamed about January 6th, because January 6th, that's what the cool kids wanted to talk about. Yes, Cynthia, can I help you?
Hi, Greg. I love you. I love most of the things that you say. But I've been wanting to get a hold of you for so long because that rabbi that was on, one of his commandments, don't hang up on me, listen. He says, we don't murder. Come on now. What are the Zionists doing to those poor Palestinians? And why hasn't Trump stepped up to the plate?
What do you mean? Wait, number one, President Trump has ended that war. And number two, murder does not equal combat loss. There are such things as just war. Believers like you and me, I assume you're a believer, we are not pacifists. I'm not a pacifist. There are some times, and it's in the Bible. War is throughout the Bible, and there's a time for war. That's in the Bible too. You understand that, Cynthia, don't you? And by the way, Zionist, you can call me a Zionist. Absolutely, _. But anyway, Cynthia, I love you. Uniondale is a fine community. Hometown of Gary Delabate. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?